All right, hello everybody and welcome. If you are here live, please say hi, please introduce yourself, let us know who you are, what you do, yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. So today we're talking about dealing with client impatience, which is a critical clue to self-sabotage. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this today. So last 2 weeks we've been talking about the true role of goals in coaching. And also class 2, that was class 1, class 2 was changing client perception. So make sure you check out those replays if you missed them, because all the classes do build on each other. But if you haven't seen them yet, just feel free to dive in right now, and you can always go back and listen to the classes later so that they have more context for you. So you're in the right place if you do inner work with your clients, or you want to add it to your work to help your clients get unstuck really fast, or you simply just want to add more mindset work for yourself. So either way, you are in the right place and it's going to really help them get the results that they came to you for, whether you consider yourself a coach or not. So, and then just remember, put in your calendar next week. We are talking about guiding your clients through stubborn resistance. So a really great topic as well. So make sure you put that in your calendar, noon Wednesday. Awesome. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping. If you haven't yet, I put in the description a few different reminders so that if you want to come live, get your questions answered, you can do that. As you go through the training today, I don't take questions during the training, but I will take questions at the end. So make sure you just take note of your questions. You're welcome to go ahead and post them in the comments, and I will come back to them at the end. But there will definitely be time for questions, so make sure you take note of them and keep me posted. And for some reason I don't see it, tag me, post it again, whatever. I want to answer your questions, so just make sure that I see it. Just remember that the best way to get the most out of this series is to take really good notes, come back, re-listen to the replays, journal about how you are going to integrate this into your work with your clients and in your business. And if you ever need help, please ask. It is going to take time for you to integrate this. You're going to hit some things that you don't foresee. So please come back, ask questions. I'm happy to help you go to that next level. But this stuff really is really going to help you. And I think that, you know, there's a big... it's going to be really easy to give up on coaching if you don't understand what's stopping your clients and why they're stopping. And I want you to make sure that if this is your passion, you're able to help them navigate through these roadblocks so that you can continue to do this work that you really love and you don't get stopped because your clients keep getting stuck. So it's really important that you learn this stuff. Please share this with your friends who need this. It's going to be better if you have a friend. That way you can set a meeting with your friend, go through your notes, synthesize it, talk about it, discuss it, how you're going to apply it to your business, to your clients. It's going to be so much better. And then one last note is that every person who comes to this training, I know that I've talked to a lot of you, and you all have a very wide variety of backgrounds and training. Some of you have very extensive training, some of you have very little. I'm trying to design this training somewhere in the middle. And so that means that if you're brand new, there may be terms that I use that you don't understand. That's okay. Again, I'm happy to go in depth and explain them, maybe beyond the scope of this training. But if you're really committed, you really want to know more about what the terms mean, how to use them with your clients, please just reach out to me. Feel free to PM me, tag me, whatever. I'm happy to help you figure out how to go deeper, how to really have an understanding of these concepts, so that you can, help your clients, because I know you're here, you're committed to excellence with them. So last but not least, you want to know who I am and what makes me qualified to talk about this. Go back to class 1, listen there, and I talk a little bit about what my background is and why I know this stuff. But the content should also speak for itself. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right. So last week, and again, if you are here live, please say hi. Please introduce yourself. Love to see you. Last week we talked about your clients and how they have their current results because of their default world view, their current filter, their filter that helped them survive. And this was created through conditioning and through their personal history and through the ego's interpretation of the world. And so if they want to move from their default worldview into their desired worldview, they have to unearth the double binds that keep them stuck. They have to challenge it. They have to integrate a new belief so they can change their worldview. So when we go through life on autopilot, which most of us do, and most of us have to, right? Because we the world would be overwhelming if we didn't have some level of autopilot, right? So we have to do that. But a lot of what we do when we're going through the world on autopilot is that we make decisions from a place to avoid uncomfortable feelings, to avoid pain. Again, there's nothing wrong with this, because a lot of times this is a really useful mechanism. We don't want to be bumping into pain all the time, right? This is not helpful for us to live our lives and to create something new. But in order to go to a next level, to create something new, we are going to have to start challenging that autopilot. We're going to have to start looking at that autopilot so that we can kind of peel it back and just say, okay, maybe this pain isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And so I'm willing to kind of, inch my way, take my favorite analogy is take a 5-pound weight. We're not going in, picking up a 50-pound weight when we've been sitting on the couch for months and months, right? We're going to go in, we're going to help our clients pick up the 5-pound weight, then the 10-pound weight, then, whatever that is, to go from autopilot where we're just kind of protecting ourselves from pain to like, oh, okay, I can pick up that weight. There's a little bit of resistance there, but you know what? That's okay. But remember, if you try to go and pick up the 100-pound weight, even sit on the couch, there will be pain. It will be bad for you. So, and you will not be able to go back to the gym again for months or weeks or whatever happens if you get that injured. So we don't want to do that, right? So autopilot isn't bad, but it creates our default worldview. And if we only live on autopilot, we want to use autopilot for what it is and be grateful for autopilot for what it is. But if we only live on autopilot, we will miss the opportunities to change our worldview into the desired one. And so will our clients, right? So we're making these decisions unconsciously all the time to avoid pain so that we're not like bumping into pain all the time. Again, not a problem with this, except for when you want to go to the next level. But if that wasn't the case, right, we would all be skinny, rich, happy, in love, all these kind of things. But unconsciously, we'd have all these results that we want. All right. And so in our mind, there is some part of us that believes that to get what we want, we're going to have to face some sort of pain, or what we want is going to have pain. Otherwise, we'd have it. Otherwise, we'd have it already. And that's just the nature of the mind. But what happens is that unconsciously our mind believes that the sacrifices that are required to be skinny, rich, in a loving relationship and happy are too great. They're too scary, they're too big, they're too painful. All right? And on autopilot, we create our lives to avoid pain. We avoid feeling deprived. We avoid feeling uncomfortable. We avoid feeling rejected, feeling guilty, feeling lonely. And even happiness makes us feel vulnerable, because we could lose it. And so we try to protect ourselves from that loss, right? So our mind, instead of, it's counterintuitive, but it's like, instead of our mind is more important to our mind to not feel loss than it is to feel happy. So can you see how to the mind, there's going to be a conflict. If I feel happy, then alongside that happiness means I could lose that happiness, especially if it's attached to something external. So to the mind, it's like, I'd rather not feel happy, so that I don't have to feel lost if I lose this external thing. This is what Brene Brown calls this foreboding joy. All right? But in order to create that new possibility, that new desired worldview, to get something new, to show ourselves that pain isn't actually as big as we think it is, we have to look at what we've been avoiding. We have to stop giving it so much power. So we have to teach our clients what we have to do for ourselves, which means we have to face the feeling. We have to challenge the story, like I talked about in the last class, all right? And we have to focus on what we want to create instead. So if we look at the results we have in our lives that we don't want, all right? If we look at the results we have in our lives, if we ask our clients to look at the results they have in their lives that they don't want, we can ask them, what are they avoiding? What am I avoiding that holds this result in place? What sacrifice am I afraid to make? Okay? So when your clients or you are bumping up against impatience, this is a critical clue to their double bind. It's showing you what they're trying to avoid, what they're afraid to sacrifice. All right, so let's talk about how this plays out practically. Let's go through an example. So when we take action towards our goal with a sense of impatience and anxiety to get what we have, guess what it's pointing to? It's pointing to a feeling that we are trying to avoid, and we are attached to avoiding this feeling. That's what attachment actually means. People talk about attachment. They talk about attachment as the root of all suffering. They don't actually they're not really talking about desiring something. They're not really talking about being attached to finding a partner, being attached to creating love. They're really talking about not feeling something. We're attached to what we want to avoid. We're attached to avoiding an uncomfortable feeling. So let's say an example is that your client wants more money, but they're pursuing that goal very, very impatiently, all right? It really isn't so much that they're attached to getting more money, or even if you go back to class number 1, let's say they want money for more freedom, right? It's not even that they're attached to feeling freedom. They're actually attached to avoiding feeling trapped. Make sense? By the lack of money. So you can ask them, what are you afraid of if you don't get this money? Well, I'm not going to have freedom. Well, what's the opposite of freedom? Trapped. Okay, so lack of money equals feeling trapped, right? Yes, so that's why they're so impatient. They're impatient to get out of this feeling of being trapped by the lack of money. That's what they're actually impatient about. So that's the first thing you really want to be clear on is what are they actually impatient for? And they're impatient to avoid a feeling, to stop feeling this uncomfortable feeling that they feel. Maybe they feel deprived by not having enough money. And so they're tired of feeling deprived. So they're trying to avoid feeling deprived. Okay, or maybe they're, happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Maybe they're pursuing love. But it isn't that they're attached to finding and experiencing love. They're actually trying to escape loneliness. Their impatience to find love is really more from a place of trying to avoid feeling lonely, avoid feeling that void, or that incompleteness, or that lack of wholeness within themselves, whatever that is for your clients, right? So when we're anxious or impatient to reach a goal, it's actually pointing to attachment. But what we're attached to is to not feeling uncomfortable in some way. We're trying to escape a feeling. We are attached to escaping a feeling. We are impatient to escaping an uncomfortable feeling. But the cool thing, and I love this because I love it psychologically, but sometimes when you're in it, it's not super cool. When your clients are in it, it may not feel super cool, but psychologically, it's really fascinating because it's actually a clue to why we are repelling the thing that we are anxious and impatient to get. Here's why. Our mind knows if we don't do the work right now to decrease the power that attachment has over us, so to decrease the power loneliness has over us, to decrease the power feeling trapped has over us, or the feeling deprived has over us, right? It will actually magnify when we get what we want. So let me break that down, okay? It will actually magnify when we get what we want if we don't do the work right now to decrease its power over us, okay? So while our client's current situation may not seem desirable, our mind knows that if we don't change something in it right now, that if we get what we think we want, it will actually be worse for us. So let's play this out, and let's use love is a great example. It's Valentine's Day, so love is a great example. So when your clients, let's say you're a love coach, okay? Your clients are dating with impatience. They're dating with anxiety. They're attached to feeling not lonely. They're attached to escaping loneliness. What happens? Okay, a few things. Number one, desperation that they're feeling to escape loneliness, it's going to repel potential suitors. Why? Because the potential suitors unconsciously feel that. They feel that you are using them to escape loneliness. And nobody wants that burden. Nobody wants that pressure. Nobody wants to be it's just too much pressure for another human being, right? If you've ever been on the other end of that, you know that that's way too much pressure for another human being to be the person who needs to escape that loneliness, all right? Now, if they do manage to attract someone, okay, if they do manage to attract somebody, their loneliness actually, if they don't work on it before they get into the relationship, it actually only magnifies once they're in the relationship because of this. So maybe they get a little temporary hit of connection, but as they spend that more time with that person, right, whoever they're in the relationship with, if they have not shifted their own internal dialogue, if they still believe, if their autopilot thinking is that I am unworthy, I am unlovable as I am, as my authentic self, what's going to happen is that they're going to shape shift themselves into the person they think they need to be to keep the relationship so that they can continue to avoid loneliness, so they can continue to escape loneliness. But if you change who you are in a relationship, guess what? Loneliness magnifies, because you cannot feel connected by being a fake person. You can't feel connected if you are being inauthentic in that relationship. If you feel like you have to walk on eggshells to keep that person, you have to feel like you have to keep yourself contained, keep who you are contained. If you're worried that if the person sees who you are, they are going to leave, you are going to feel more lonely than ever. Okay? So that's why we unconsciously repel what we want, because the mind knows that if we get it, it's only going to magnify it unless we shift it now in the action, in the journey, in the creating of what we want. So as we take action towards what we want, as our clients take action towards what they want, you can use that impatience as a clue to shift how much power that feeling has over them so that they can actually create what they want, and also enjoy it once they get it, and not feel like they are gonna, whatever they are afraid of is gonna magnify when they get what they want, okay? But you have to dig deep here, right? Okay, so if you are attached to, let's say that you or your clients, they're attached to getting more money, more clients. You want to look at why. What feeling are you trying to escape from by getting more clients, more money? What feeling are you trying to avoid? What happens if you don't get what you want? All right? And then you want to ask, how might that feeling be magnified if you did get what you want? Now, this will be unique to you. This will be unique to your client. So you do have to dig at what this is. And a lot of people, they're not going to get it right away. And that's okay. Like, you don't need your clients to get it immediately. You can kind of keep, being gentle with them and just kind of keep poking at it and, thinking about getting creative with different ways you might approach this with them. Again, the more you do this work for you, the easier it will be for you to coach somebody else on it. The easier it's going to be for you to think about, like, how can I get at this creatively, because you know how to do it, because you've done it for yourself. If you haven't done it for yourself, you haven't had somebody help you do it for you, you haven't gotten coaching on it for yourself, it's going to be a lot harder for you to coach somebody else on this, because you're going to not understand why they don't get it right away. Versus you can get really creative with them and really thoughtful. And if one thing doesn't work, you can start being like, okay, well, maybe I can approach it this way, or maybe I can kind of get at it this way. Okay. So let's go back to the example of clients, right? Not getting enough clients. So for a lot of people, this is, and I've seen this in my clients, right? So this is a pattern that I've noticed, is that a lot of people, they're trying to escape. When they're trying to get more money, they're trying to get more clients. A lot of people are trying to escape shame, because they feel like a failure to their friends and family. Okay, so they're trying to run away from shame. But what's going to happen is that if they get more clients, a bigger community, a bigger list, what's going to happen? They might fail their clients. They might fail their community, and that shame is going to magnify. It's going to be, that feeling of failure is going to be even worse than it is with their small community of friends and family. The shame that they feel with their friends and family is comfort zone shame. But if they start failing in front of a bigger and bigger audience, that's going to be even more terrible to the mind. And the mind knows this. That's why it's protecting them from it. So they have to face the shame now with the friends and family, so that when they do get the clients, when they do get the community, they're not going to be afraid of failing. They're not going to be afraid of shame. It's not going to get magnified. So again, the attachment and the impatience is a clue. To why they're self-sabotaging the bigger results that they want and why they're repelling it. So once you can see that clue, what you're going to do with it is what you want to do with it so that your clients stop repelling what they want unconsciously. And number two, it doesn't magnify and that they don't feel awful, is that you have to help them stop giving the feeling that they're trying to escape from power now, in the action, in the pursuit of goals, okay? So we want to help them stop trying to avoid feeling lonely, stop trying to avoid the shame associated with failure. Feel the feeling, witness the story. Now, this is a big concept that, I'm saying it very briefly. Feel the feeling, witness the story, challenge the story, like these three little things. Critical to being a really powerful coach, okay? That you understand how to do them so you can teach your clients. But it's kind of beyond the scope of this training that I can really dig into what that is. But you're really going to help them do three things. Feel the feelings, witness the story, challenge the story. Give me 1 second. Hey. Okay. As a coach, so what you're going to help them do is feel the feelings, witness the story, and challenge the story. And as a coach, you're going to help your clients challenge the story. That's your job, is to help them challenge the story. And then you teach them how to feel the feelings and how to become the witness. So here's an exercise that you can use with your clients. Number one, as you sense them getting impatient, having this sense of anxiety or impatience towards reaching your goal. Now, this is not the same thing as urgency, because you do need a sense of urgency to make a change, okay? So urgency is okay. But when they get into that point where they're really anxious, really impatient, or triggered in pursuit of their goals, you want to ask them these questions. Number one, if you fix this problem, what feeling are you trying to escape from? If you don't fix this problem, what uncomfortable feeling are you going to have to face? And you want to ask them, number three, after that temporary hit of relief that you feel if you do fix this problem, how might it magnify in the long run when you get what you want if you don't address it right now? So you'll want to write down those questions. All right, so here are a couple of examples to get you started in terms of being able to help them identify the difference between like higher goals and ego goals, right? And so this is going to help you identify where the attachment is and where they are pursuing something from that attachment, from that place to escape the pain, which is like an ego goal. An ego goal is trying to avoid pain or trying to escape pain of some kind, okay? And a higher goal is really more focused on creation. It's more focused on what I talked about in the very beginning, which is expanding your capacity to receive and experience all that life has to offer versus running away from something, okay? So this is going to help you be able to kind of like ding, ding, ding. Okay, this is what's happening with my people, okay? And it's going to have alarm bells go off when you hear it in your clients and yourself. So a higher goal is going to be anything that really helps you connect inside to your power and allows you to share who you are authentically. Doesn't matter what it's through, right? It can be through health. It can be through love. It can be through business. It can be through your work. It can be through your relationships with your family. Doesn't matter. It's about sharing who you are authentically and connecting to your inner wisdom, your inner power, okay? Now, ego goals are going to be centered around security, safety, and comfort. Again, there's nothing wrong with these things, right? Like, we're not making the ego bad here. It's just if they have a default worldview, they want to change it to a desired worldview. This is a clue as to why they're getting stuck and why they're staying in the same default worldview, okay? So here are some signs that your clients are pursuing ego goals and they're attached to avoiding versus focus on creation. The goals are very self-involved and self-centered. They're very anxious and clingy. They are guarded, hidden, and protected, all right? They're grasping to get something. There's emptiness, a void, or a lack. There's a doubt in themselves, a doubt in others. And I do want to make one point around something being self-involved and self-centered. It's not that stuff is bad, right? Like, we want your clients to be thinking about their own needs and thinking about their own desires. We don't want to make being self-centered or self-involved bad. It just tends to be almost at the expense of other people, right? So you can always, your goals can always be mutually beneficial. There never needs to be a reason why your goals are going to be in conflict with somebody else's goals, or at the expense of somebody else's. So I want to kind of clarify what that is. That's more around lack, right? It's more around like either I win or they win, versus like we can have a mutually beneficial relationship here. All right. They are jealous. There's kind of a compare and despair element to it. The goal is insecure, or it's temporary and fickle, or there's some kind of power struggle going on. Higher goals are going to be more mutually beneficial. They're going to be relaxed. They're going to have a sense of freedom. They're going to be open and expansive. There's a desire to give, but not from guilt, but pure generosity. Okay, there's a huge difference between a desire to give from guilt and martyrdom, and from pure generosity, like a love of sharing. It's complete and whole and fulfilled. There's a trust in yourself, a trust in others, a trust in the world. It's unconditional. Your self-worth is not dependent on anything external, not your number in your bank account, not if you have a partner or not if somebody loves you or not. It is secure and safe. It is lasting and unwavering. It is eternal, not temporary. It is a unity. It's connection with others in all things. It's focused on experiencing abundance, love, connection internally to expand your capacity to receive externally. And there's a clear purpose for the external things that you want, and it's to express your purpose and to experience your capacity to feel and feel joy and love and all that stuff. There's gratitude, and there's being present in the moment. Okay, so remember, our role as coaches is a huge piece of it, okay? This is a huge mistake I see people making too, is that we do not want to shame our clients or ourselves for not having every single one of our goals be a higher goal, okay? Nor is it our role to enable our clients or ourselves to pretend that our goals are higher when they're actually ego goals. The ego isn't bad. It is not bad. It is not bad. It is not bad. It is not bad. It's extremely helpful, but it is often misinformed, and it can sometimes keep us in this box when we're ready to go to this box. So we just have to learn to work with the ego. We build a relationship with the ego so we can go from this box to this box. That's it, okay? So as you and your clients pursue new things, ego goals and motives will arise. This is perfect. This is normal. We expect this. We do not shame it. And if it doesn't, it actually means that your clients are playing too small in their goals, okay? So the goal is not to eradicate the ego or eradicate ego goals. It's just to see them as they are and start to take action. And you know, as you take action towards that next goal, it's going to show you, is this an ego goal? Is it a higher goal? Let's see it. Okay, now that we've seen it, now we can transform it. Great, we need to see it to be able to transform it. And we start to challenge it as need be, one at a time, and only in so much as it's stopping you and your clients from the next threshold of your desired world view. So our job is really just to help our clients become aware of these ego goals and to shift them one at a time as they come up. It is actually an ego trick to tell you to stop what you're doing, try to transform all of your ego goals into higher goals, and to pretend to have all higher goals moving forward. That is an ego trick because it actually keeps you in your comfort zone. Pretending keeps you in your comfort zone. And it is impossible and it isn't helpful. So we just do it one at a time as need be to go to that next level. We pick up the 5-pound weight, then the 10-pound weight to continue to change our default worldview into our desired worldview. All right, so pretending isn't helpful, and having ego goals is not bad. It is simply that is what it is. Great, it's keeping me in this box. I want to go to this box. Now I just need to shift it. Right? It's sort of like I'm just going from one room to another. I just need to see the door. I'm not making the door bad. But I have to see the door in order to go to the next room. All right, so here's the exercise you're going to use with your clients, okay? As they get anxious, impatient, or triggered in the pursuit of their goals, you want to ask them, if you fix this problem, what feeling are you trying to escape from? If you don't fix this problem, what uncomfortable feeling will you have to face? And after the temporary hit of relief that you get if you do fix this problem, how might it magnify in the long run when you get what you want if you don't address it now? Feel the feelings, witness the story, challenge the story. And as a coach, your job is to teach your clients how to feel the feelings and how to become the witness, and also to help them challenge their unique story and to integrate a new story. All right, so if you all have questions, please post them now. Otherwise, we are done. So I'll give y'all just a couple seconds to post any questions that you have about this. All right, well, if there are no questions, in the group, please share your ahas, your insights, the takeaways that you got from today, what actions you're going to take, how you're going to implement this with your clients, how you're going to use this with your clients. And then please share any follow-up questions that you have in the group. I'm also looking for some volunteers for the next couple of weeks classes to do some laser coaching sessions with, so I can demonstrate this in action. So please PM me if you are available to volunteer. All right, I will see y'all next week when we are talking about dealing with stubborn client resistance. Very excited about that topic too. All right, y'all have a great day. Oh, here we go. Okay, I have a question. Can you give another example of challenging the story? Let me use one of my examples that I already have. Okay. I'll go back to the one around, let's say that you have a client who is feeling like a failure. They're trying to make more money, they're trying to build a business, and they're feeling like a failure. And what it's triggering in them is a feeling of shame, okay? We do not want to stop the shame, but we do want to look at the story that the shame is connected to. So the shame in and of itself is just a felt sense in the body. It's a tightness in the chest, or a lump in your throat, or a tension in your shoulders. It's going to be unique to you. It's going to be unique to your clients where you feel shame. It might be a drop in your stomach. But the story around shame is also unique to you, and you want to separate the feeling from the story. So the feeling is literally what is the felt sense in your body. And then when that gets triggered, what is the story that starts to run? All right, and so let's say it's like, my friends and family are going to think that I'm a failure if I can't get a client in the next month. Well, it's kind of easy to go ahead and challenge that and say, is that really true? Are they actually going to see you as a failure? So number one, you want to challenge that. Is that really true? Like, are they going to see you as a failure? And for a lot of people, it might be like, well, you're right, Kristen. It's probably more magnified in my own head than it actually is in reality. Now, for some people, for some clients, they're going to be like, yes, Kristen, that is absolutely true. My friends and family are going to see me as a huge failure. And so then you want to ask them, so what? So what? Do you believe it? Do you believe that you are a failure if you can't do this in the next month? And you want to have them look for evidence. They have lots of evidence already that they are a failure. So that's the comfort zone. We already know that. And that's not wrong. I posted something the other day that says positive thinking is not it is not trying to pretend that the glass is only half full. You can still see the glass is half empty and focus your attention on where the glass is half full. So it's about seeing it both as okay, we can acknowledge that it's half empty, but let's also see where it's half full. So your clients already have all this evidence, right, that they're a failure. So it's like, okay, I get it. I'm not going to disagree with you. You think you're a failure. You have all this evidence that you're a failure. Great. We've established that that's true. Okay, cool. Now we need to look at some evidence that it's not true. So what else is there? Tell me some reasons that you're not a failure. Tell me some reasons that not creating this end thing is really a failure. Let's also look at the word failure. Why are we judging it? Why are we making failure bad? Is it even possible to succeed without failure? So again, the more you know how to coach yourself here, the easier it's going to be, or the more you've had coaching, the easier it's going to be for you to challenge those stories. Like for me, I know that failure is required to succeed. You cannot succeed without failure. It's a delusion. So when clients want to get out of feeling like a failure, they want to get out of failure, it's like, then you don't want what you want, because failure is required. Failure is required for excellence. Failure is required for, you cannot give me one person who has had success that has not had failure. And it's like looking at it from all those different angles. Why is failure bad? What if we reframe failure as good? And then so as a coach, your job is to start to get the ball rolling to help them find their own evidence that something different is true. The glass is also half full, okay? You can give them some examples, but try to help them see them, try to pull it out of them, right? It's better if they get the evidence for themselves. If they're really struggling, you can help them with some evidence too, but try to pull it out of them. And so it's your job to get the ball rolling, give them some other ideas, give them some other things, and then their client's job is to start looking for evidence that that's true, and to start putting their focus on, oh, we started the ball rolling in this coaching session, and now I'm starting to see everywhere that this is true. Let's start to see, and as a coach, you can help them along. Like if somebody was doing that, I might send them the Sarah, what's her last name? The one who had Spanx. She's got this video on how her dad would every single morning would say, how did you fail today? And it was something that was celebrated and required in their family because they realized that was important for success. So I might send them something like that. Or they might go looking for it on their own. They might see it. It might be something that's like, oh, now my mind is starting to look for evidence that this, failure is not so bad. And it's not the end of the world, and it's actually required for success. And so that's going to help them. So when they feel that shame, it's going to help them have this other dialogue alongside the, oh my God, I'm a failure. But they're going to be like, well, wait a minute, what if a failure is not so bad? Now, we don't want to do this to get rid of the shame that's being felt in their body, right? A lot of people will skip to that step. It doesn't work. But when they're feeling that felt sense in their body, they can kind of have these two inner dialogues going on at the same time. Hopefully, and this is where witnessing comes in, and you can teach them how to witness. So hopefully they can have these two inner dialogues where they're not like fighting each other, because that actually is another ego trick. It doesn't help them. But sort of having these two dialogues sort of running next to each other. We're like, oh my God, I'm a failure. It's so terrible. But wait, maybe it's not. It's actually going to be okay. Oh my God, it's so horrible. But, it's really not that bad. Versus like, you don't want them to have those, you don't want them to try to be fighting each other. It's more just being the witness, where it's like, oh, these are just thoughts and they aren't necessarily all true. And so I can even now, because I'm so practiced at challenging my beliefs and being the witness of my thoughts, I can now have a really long stream of negative thoughts and not believe them at the same time. So I'm still having this like chain of negative thoughts that's going on, and I'm, feeling this felt sense in my body. But because I've challenged enough stories, I can see very quickly, I may not know totally that it's not true yet or why it's not true yet, but I can see that there's a possibility that it's probably not true. And that makes my life a lot more peaceful, and it makes me a lot more able to create new possibility. And as a coach, then you can see those witness thoughts with people, and if they're having trouble challenging them, you can help them challenge them. I hope that answers your question, Carly. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. It's a great question. It's really, really important as a coach that you know how to help your clients challenge your stories. And I do work with my private clients on that if that's something that you want more help with, because I do have a system that I can teach you on how to help you challenge yourself, which will help you challenge your clients. So definitely keep me posted if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, because it is a practice. It is a practice. Awesome. All right. Well, that looks like that's all the questions. Thank you, Carly. I will PM you to set up a time for your laser coaching session next week. And y'all have a great day, and keep me posted. Takeaways, ahas, insights, and action steps you're going to take this week. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.